Hey, Spider Nation, welcome back to another episode of Spider-Man's Tangled WebShow. I'm Jonathan, webmaster of SpiderManFanRave.com, SpiderManFanRave.com. I've said this at the beginning of pretty much every show for the last year, so I think most of you listeners right now will know what the site is about, and you will know where to go to find it. If you are a new listener, just head on over to SpiderManFanRave.com and just enjoy. I won't even give you any pretense about it. Just enjoy, and I will let you be surprised by what you find. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. I don't know. It's a free country. All right, tonight I'm being joined by James. What's going on, James?
Not much. Just I had my dad's birthday party today. Happy birthday, Dad. So just pretty much relaxing. I went to his birthday party, hanged out with some relatives, sitting at home, reading a lot of back issues on Marvel Unlimited, and listening to the WCW podcast bitch about stupid crap. But then, hey, that's WCW for you. Read between the lines, John. Read between the lines.
I was going to say, I'm assuming this WCW podcast is some sort of wrestling show, but...
Well, it deals with a character who at one point in time in his life used to wrestle.
All right, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. James is choosing to be decidedly ambiguous with that description.
Because I don't want to piss off, WCW. Because hey, I was a WCW fan once. I like their wrestling product.
All right, but what have I been up to this week? Well, it's been damn cold here in Ohio. It's very cold today. I went to school this week. I helped take care of my mom who got sick this week, so that was not really enjoyable. But it has to be done because unfortunately we humans do fall ill from time to time. I'm really hoping that I'm not getting sick too because I've actually been.
I was sick last week too. Like literally the day after our last podcast, I was like shit. Like I was as sick as I've been like in a long time.
Yeah, I've been feeling kind of down lately, so I'm really hoping I'm not getting sick. And I don't mean like down like depressed. I mean like down as in like lower
energy.
level. Yeah, down energy. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm really hoping that I'm not getting sick, but I can actually, I almost feel like I can feel it coming on. So hoping I'm not getting sick.
I hate that feeling where you know you're getting sick and there's nothing you can do about it.
It's just like, hey, go to the medicine cabinet, pop some NyQuil, and pray that you wake up okay. But in other news this week, I got a new TV this week, so that was cool. All right. And I feel like TVs are like one of the best purchases you ever make. I don't know. I don't really know why. It's just there's something about buying a TV that's so gratifying. I don't really know what it is.
Well, I got my TV right over there. Like earlier, just like November, October, like when my first paychecks at Amazon, and I gotta say, that day when I bought the TV, it's like my first purchase for my new job was a TV. Bigger than my old piece of shit.
Yeah, you 1%er.
How many 1%er?
I'm kidding. All right. Okay. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, there's really no Spider-Man news to speak of this week, mainly because there's no comics. Well, there is a comic that came out this week, but it's a comic that I'm going to pretend doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I don't enjoy those 0.1 issues. I stopped buying them. I can't deal with it anymore. I was done after 2. But yeah, so the 0.1 issue came out this week. I didn't read it, so it's yeah. If you read it and you enjoyed it, I'm glad someone enjoyed it. I'm really glad that someone enjoyed it. I didn't, so I stopped buying them. But there's no news. There's really no comics out this week that we read. So what do? Well, we go into the thousands of back issues of Spider-Man that have been released over the past 50.
We're going Ditko era, people.
Past 53 years. And by Ditko era, James means 50 plus years after the Ditko era. Yeah, see, here's the thing. We realized that when we shut this show down, like mid 2014-ish, and we kind of were on a very extended hiatus, we didn't cover the last part of this particular story arc, which is the beginning of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3. The Amazing Spider-Man, The Parker Lock, by Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos. I apologize, I just burped on the air. Yes. So
Oh my God! Now I'm going to sound like the WCW podcast, but it's a silk storyline with Ramos. Sorry, I can't help but be negative.
Okay, so we covered the first two issues of this back when we were known as, oh God, what name were we even going under at that point? I think we were
the hyphen amazing hyphen spider hyphen man hyphen podcast.
Yes, so that was.
You found out that the domain name with like 1,000 hyphens in it was not being used by anybody.
You know what? That was a good plan. He tried to say with a straight face, but he knows it was a lie.
Because you changed the podcast from something that was unique, like Spider-Man's Tangled WebShow or the Spider Nerd podcast, things that were actual generic that could be our own unique show, to the amazing hyphen spider hyphen man hyphen podcast.
Okay, I'm going to pull a Superboy Prime here, and I'm going to change reality so that James didn't say that. All right. So we covered the first two issues of
hyphen comics hyphen bad hyphen man podcast.
So we covered the first two issues of this back a couple of years ago when they first came out. Now we're going to cover ASM Volume 3, number 3 through number 8. But before we do so, I want to bitch about Peter Parker punching Steve Rogers in the face.
Oh God, here we go.
Because okay, here's the thing: we're not covering issue 2 tonight. We're covering this part. I reread this trade to prepare for this podcast. We talked about this issue 2 years ago, and according to James, I haven't even listened to the episode since then. According to James, I bitched about this back then. I'm going to bitch about it now.
Everybody did. I bitched about it. You bitched about it. Jacob bitched about it. Jan bitched about it. Thomas wasn't even on our podcast anymore. He was already being zombified, and he bitched about it probably.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I'll make this really quick. Peter Parker would not punch Steve Rogers in the face. Especially not the way. Okay, it's okay, you can count.
I hated it for the context that it was. Because I said back on the podcast, it was just done so that way the event, he still wasn't okay, Spider-Man, you were Doc Ock the whole time. You're a buddy old pal now. They had to make sure that it's Peter Parker. It's Parker Luck. Nobody likes him. So he punches Captain America to confirm that.
And it's okay, I'll give you ASM Annual number 3. He was a stupid hothead kid there who had no idea what he was doing. This is experienced Peter Parker who has fought alongside Steve Rogers on multiple Avengers teams, has great respect for Captain America, looks up to the man, and let me remind you, he punched Steve freaking Rogers.
Over the most dumbest reason you can do it for in comic history. Because you didn't tell me the secret identity of my best friend. Peter Parker, not killing Civil War, didn't even tell Flash his secret identity.
Okay,
but he's pissed off that nobody told him that Flash is Venom. Fuck you, Peter, you hypocrite.
Yes, so here is my response to this scene right here. Screw this scene. I don't like it. It's awful. All right, now that I got that out of my system.
Okay, calm down, Doug.
James, please don't call me by my middle name. You are not my mother. All right. I got that off my chest. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. I don't get mad about comic books. I just mainly did that for parody, but still, that scene is still stupid.
Okay, can I actually start my review at issue 3 now, or are you going to bitch about One More Day or some other past god-awful comic now out of nowhere?
You know what? That did have some context, James. It was in the same trade paperback. All right. So we're going to cover Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, number 3 through number 8, because we realized that those are the issues that we missed while this show was, quote-unquote, off the air. So we decided we're going to fill in the gap. So we're going to hit up number 3, written by Dan Slott, art by Humberto Ramos. And because I'm trying to inker Victor Olazaba and colorist Edgar Delgado, letterer Chris Eliopoulos, cover art Humberto Ramos and Edgar Delgado, associate editor Ellie Pyle, editor Nick Lowe. Just keep those credits for this entire thing. I'm not gonna bother to stop and do them again. So that's what they're listed as in the credits page of this trade. I don't have the actual single issues anymore, so I have the trade. All right, so James, why don't you take us through Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, number 3, with This says the cover: Spider-Man and Black Cat clawing through him. Because evidently it's a poster.
Literally, when John said we had to review these issues, at first I was like, wait, what happened to those again? And then I reread them for 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, God, scrap again.
Oh, jeez, not this shit again.
Because this is just bad. I'll be right on and say this comic sucks. If I could pull a page out of Linkara, this comic sucks.
And now I'm going to review it. Shout out to Linkara.
Yeah. God, where do I begin? First, though, have anybody heard my one more day, or since past rants? Because we're bringing up old rants all over again, John.
You know what?
Okay, I'm just giving you a hard time. You know I'm only doing this because I'm trying to delay the inevitable with me reviewing this. You know that, right?
I know. I'm very aware of that fact, James.
Okay,
I've met you before.
Yeah. Well, we begin this issue today. Well, actually, not today. It was 2014. But we begin today. The woman in the windowless room. We see a bored Asian chick walking up and down the walls with her ass hanging out, looking at photos of family members she hasn't seen for years, books she has read 1,000 times, DVDs she has watched 1 billion times. She's just bored. Almost like the guy who put her there has been dead for over a decade.
Who was that guy who put her there, James? Does he have a name? Do we know him?
Ezekiel. That's his name, John. You might remember him from my JMS articles that I still haven't finished yet because I'm just so super busy right now.
Yes, James is busy.
Hey, I got a job in school, asshole.
I'm kidding.
And then we got her bending down with her butt up in the air. She's typing in random numbers, which all come out to 616. Because just like the new 52, everything had to go with the number because this is such brilliant writing. So yeah, she keeps on pressing the buttons and like some holographic video. Ezekiel's like, no, stop, you can't leave because Morlan and all that shit. The bunker is built to protect you. So I kidnapped this teenage girl and throw her in here. And I conveniently never once told Peter Parker when I was alive. Oh yeah, Peter. Like when he's dying and he's like, I finally understand your part of responsibility, Peter. I sacrificed myself to the Spider God because you're a good man. P.S. I got a woman in a building in a bunker somewhere. You might want to go check on her. She might not have food anymore and she may be dead. This is retconning at its finest. Ezekiel didn't once bring her up before. But whatever, yeah, she's in the room and then she gets in this fetal position and starts crying because she knows he's right or whatever. Then we see Black Cat be evil for being evil's sake and bullshit. Because now she's a hater of Peter Parker. Not a lover of Peter Parker anymore, but a hater of Peter Parker now. And she's acting all bitchy as she's in people's houses and she's got them all tied up and she's all like, if she had a mustache, she'd be twirling right now. She's tying them up beneath a fucking train. Oh, God, I hate this. Why couldn't we? I offer to review the other. Why couldn't we review something that at least is halfway decent? And when I'm saying that about the other compared to this, John, you know this thing's shit. And then we see Electro, because remember, this is Spider-Man 2 area where everything had to be tying into the movie. So you got Electro freaking out there going, sparkle, sparkle.
It's my birthday. Now it's time for me to light my candles.
I'm surprised they did not put it like this in the arc like this. Like, to put him in a hoodie for one scene.
Well, why didn't they have this take place on his birthday?
Or rip off a classic Riddler comic. Because as we all know, Max Dillon was the ripoff of Jim Carrey's version of Riddler from Batman Forever.
Yes.
And that's one of my complaints about the movie. It literally is like, watch Batman Forever scenes with the Riddler and watch Max Dillon scenes in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it's almost word from word.
Okay.
You can tell that they ripped it off, John. I'm just saying that right now.
Okay, James, you want to talk about rehashing old rants?
The movie, I'm getting to the point, though, every time I rewatch it, I'm starting to like it less and less. And that's pretty sad to say. When you saw how gung-ho and excited I was. But back to this shitty comic. He's having a nightmare because the superior Spider-Man was a dick to him, and trust me, I still have nightmares about how shitty that arc was. But anyway, he's having nightmares, and then he goes to his office, and he's all like, Casual Friday. Oh, yeah. And everybody stares at him like, Is he bipolar? What the hell's going on? Because you gotta remember, Ock was like, stand straight, uniforms, bow down before me, call me McGritty as I am. Oh, I gotta sound like Peter Parker. Curse my Parker lock, but rule it, because I'm the superior Peter Parker. So they're like, and now he's walking, hey guys, casual Friday, let's all dance with margaritas. Oh yeah. I wear my sunglasses indoors at night because I'm an awesome guy. They're like, what the fuck happened to you? And he's like, oh, Doc Ock is a dick to his employees. Who knew? And he's like, okay, class, time to go on a field trip. And then we got Stajani being like the asshole goddamn person nobody liked in school who, when the kids were having fun, would go, you're not supposed to do that. Fuck you, Stajani. I'm happy you're fired. And so you got Stajani doing her whole freak out, and then you go back to their secret shit, and then you got the fucking, whatchamacallit, wanting her to give her... Okay, just realize this. The living brain is really clingy to Anna Maria even here.
But now we know why, because it was Ock.
That actually is creative.
Wait, did James just find something positive to say about this issue?
Because he's like, oh, do you want a tasty beverage, Anna? Click, click. Do you want some assistance? And she's like, well, that's convenient that you just happen to show up here. Sure, but then again, it does kind of beat you over the head with it now when you relook at it. Because she's like, well, isn't that convenient? I'm talking about Otto and this bot showed up. But anyways, yeah, it actually was pretty creative. And then we got the firefighter. Oh, God, and then it begins this part. Get ready for my big rant of the episode, people. Well, my big rant about this part of the arc. Because, trust me, when we get to the Edge of Spider-Verse crap, we're going to get a lot more ranty with me. Especially with some idiot and timelines of fucking cartoons. And that idiot being Dan Slott.
Okay, James.
I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm sorry, but these comics just suck.
We apologize to Dan Slott.
When I say idiot, I mean like not realizing that the comics are a different continuity from the cartoons and stuff like that. That's what I meant. I didn't mean he's an idiot, like he doesn't know 2 + 2, John. I meant like, oh, that's kind of stupid that you would do that, even though nobody thought that way, but you did. That's what I meant. I didn't mean he's literally an idiot. Well, anyways, to get back to this dumb subplot, and the firefighters are saving the world, and they're giving the guy a hard time, whatever the hell his name is, because he's dating Mary Jane. And then whatever his hell name is goes inside the burning building. And then Peter's all like, we should do something, guys, because it's power and responsibility. And now if you don't need me, I'm going to go hide behind a car to change into my Spider-Man costume. And then we got Fox News recording it, because remember, Fox News is big audible rage right now, or the fact channel, or what the hell they're called. And then he swings into the burning building, and then Black Cat is twirling her mustache. And then Jonah's bitching about Spider-Man like he always does, but it actually fits now because of Fox News. I mean, Fact Channel. Then Peter goes inside the burning building. He teams up with Mary Jane's new boyfriend. They repeat Spider-Man's one whole burning building plot. He saves the baby from it. You know, then Black Cat shows up, beat the shit out of him, and then he keeps on saying, dude, Felicia, it's not me, it's Otto. It was Otto. Aren't you believing me? Aren't you believing me? And she's like, I don't care. She's Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. I didn't punch you. I don't care. So she's freaking out, and then Peter's like, does the only smart thing, I'm going to start talking like Dr. Octopus to scare the shit out of her. And he starts saying, you know, the die has cast. I'm Otto Octavius. I'm going to kill you, bitch. I'm going to jack out the memories of you and Peter Parker banging because that's what Spock does. Oh, he does that shit, God. Then we get an ad for Guardians of the Galaxy, and now I think about something that's actually good that falls around Marvel. And then she runs away scared like a little girl from him acting like Spock. And then Peter addresses, okay, this is one of the things where if you address a problem that doesn't fix the problem, it just makes the problem worse kind of thing. Because he says this line, I've talked like that for over a year and nobody can tell the difference. What's crazy telling Banana Pants about that? Which, do we notice he has not said that, not only did he not say that before Superior, he didn't even say that after Superior. But he's like, but I love this stuff. He's like, she fell for that. Did I really talk like that for a whole year and nobody noticed? I'm just like this.
Great job, comic.
And then he saves her boyfriend from the burning building because remember she was attacked. And then Mary Jane runs up, they hug and they cry and they kiss. And then Peter says the dumbest line in this whole fucking comic. Wow, she deserves to be happy. She doesn't deserve to be with me because we both know that she needs to be with somebody who doesn't put his life in danger. He just had to save her boyfriend from a burning building because he was a firefighter. What the hell are you talking about? This comic sucks. And then Black Cat twirls her mustache some more and acts evil, and she finds the lecturer and they decide to team up to be continued. And then we got an ad for Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh god, this comic sucks, John.
So, James, what did you think of it?
I don't think I can say it in this podcast, but I can say I'm really hoping right now this Coca-Cola turns into beer or some kind of alcoholic beverage.
You want to pull a Jesus and turn water into wine?
Well, it's soda, so not really Jesus, but maybe Hindu, Buddha, maybe. It's just so. Where to begin? Like, I know it sounds really bad about what me and John talked about before the show about negative comments on the book, and here I'm acting this way, but this comic is just that bad. The art is terrible because Ramos. You got unnecessary. Every shot we got a Cindy Moon. You don't see her face, but we see a whole bunch of ass shots of her.
That you really do in this book. It's like, okay, settle down.
I mean, the first panel you see of her, she's upside down, her ass is hanging out of her shorts. And then
Which I didn't even notice until James pointed out
to
me.
And then the next panel, look at the way she's bent over. She's typing in 616 in the code in the door. Look at the way she's bent on that top panel.
I see it, James.
It's just like so bizarre. And then you got the Ezekiel saying that it's just like, okay, I gotta rip off Batman for myself. Val Kilmer's iconic line from that movie. It just raises too many questions. Why the hell didn't Ezekiel? And the obvious answer is obvious. JMS isn't writing the book now, so JMS didn't think about this because he didn't know that Dan Slott was going to do this. But in context of the story, why wouldn't he ever bring up Cindy Moon before, besides the obvious that it was a different writer creating her a decade later? It's just like to the point, at least write it good. Don't just write it that, oh, it's his original sin that he was keeping this from Peter. It's bullshit. And then it's like, oh yeah, you're the one who got bit by the spider god. Don't even mention there was an older chick who was also bitten that day too, that's in a bunker somewhere. Totally, it's just you, Peter. And me. And supposedly your clone because he's the other according to the Spider-Verse. Okay, we're getting to it. It just brings us too many goddamn questions. And then you got the Black Cat thing, which I don't have to bitch about how much I hate this current version she's been with Dan Slott, where she's like mustache twirling, Silver Age supervillain, evil because I'm evil, not because character motivation, but she's just evil because evil. And then you got the electro shit that's only there because of the goddamn movie. It's kind of funny. Whenever a new Spider-Man or X-Men movie comes out, they really try to hype up an X-Men and Spider-Man event. When a new Fantastic Four movie comes out, Marvel cancels the whole lot.
Well, okay, there's a difference in movie quality there.
Yeah, I know. Spider-Man. I mean, I'll take Spider-Man 3 any day over Fan 4 Stick.
Fan 4 Stick, or as Honest Trailers likes to call it, Fantastic Four Strike 3.
I got into the movie for free, and AKA my friend paid the ticket for me, and even I felt like I wasted money.
All right, but getting back to ASM Volume 3, Number 3, James, what else pissed you off about this book?
It's just like the art. Okay, the art is even more shitty. You got the only good part where everybody there is like mindless, like 1984. We must conform. Like they're basically how you would think auto employees would be. They're dressed up just like him, in fact, with their glasses and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, here's Peter, woohoo, casual Friday, who wants margaritas? It's Hawaiian shirts. Yeah. And he's like, wow, Aqua's really in no fun zone. And this is the one where I bring up, okay, there's Peter Parker being mature, and then there's Peter Parker acting like a college kid taking a class field trip to Parker Industries. It's one thing from the show, like, hey, Brian, I read your file today. I heard that your wife's birthday today. Tell her I said happy birthday to me. Wow, Octavius actually cares about me. So, I mean, Peter Parker actually cares about me and my family. That he knew it was my wife's birthday. Well, what got into him? His attitude changed. He must be in a better mood now. Not, hey, casual Friday, margaritas, class field trip. Yeah, I'm awesome. It's just like completely weird and out there. And then you got this Johnny shit where she's getting angry at Peter, and I don't care anymore because I don't care. And then you got the actual one good moment in the book where you now realize, holy crap, that's Otto in it. So that's why it's really clingy to her, the Octobot. She says, well, it's really convenient I bring up Otto and you're here. Then you get to the ending of the book. Peter calling, there's that one thing of if you address a problem, then that doesn't fix the problem. In fact, it makes the problem still a problem because you're acknowledging that it was a problem. And you got that with Peter with that dumbass line. And then you got the goddamn Mary Jane's new boyfriend. I get if you put him here to make him look good, and then Peter teams up with him kind of, and he's the firefighter, and they're both saving lives in the burning building. And then you realize, hey, Mary Jane's not dating a douchebag you're supposed to hate. You're actually supposed to like this guy because he's actually a nice guy, and Peter and him just saved a bunch of people in a burning building. The way they handle that, though, is Peter pulling a Spider-Man 2, him stalking her on her date with John Jameson, only it's Ollie here, where he's crouched up on the wall staring at her like, she deserves better than me. She deserves somebody who will come home at night and not have to worry about, even though he's a firefighter who I totally have to just save in a fire right now. And it's the Ross and Rachel effect. If I told John I wanted to bring this on the podcast, it's that thing where there has to be blocks in the relationship because you want to build to the season finale, the lovebirds and the soulmates finally get together. So throughout the whole 10-year show, you just have idiot obstacle over obstacle to get in their way, like, oh, they're getting married, or he said the wrong name, or he kissed another girl when they were technically kind of sort of broken up, but not really. That's some Friends storylines, and this is almost like what Peter and Mary Jane are going through. But there's a difference. Friends ended a decade ago. There was an ending. That was their plan for their ending. Spider-Man is a continuous book, and it's almost set up that this is the status quo now. There's going to be a will they, won't they, and it's really annoying when they were they for a long time. And then you got the whole Jameson with the Fox News. I know it's the fact channel, but that's all it is. It's right in a Fox News parody of Amazing Spider-Man.
It really is just Fox News.
It's just Dan Slott came up with an actual creative idea. How do we update Jonah? Since newspapers are going out. I know. He goes on Fox News. He fits in. We've been joking for years that he's the Rush Limbaugh or the Bill O'Reilly of the Marvel Universe. Let's actually make him those guys of the Marvel Universe.
Oh, God, don't mention Bill O'Reilly, not on this podcast.
Everybody for a year has made that joke that Jonah's the Bill O'Reilly of the Marvel Universe, and this is almost like their way of saying, let's actually make him that by putting him, on our Fox News. And then you got Black Cat and her, this more Black Cat bitchiness, and it's setting up that she's teaming up with Elektra because of this.
Because of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Best Spidey movie ever.
Oh, God.
So, again, James, you give it a thumbs down?
If I can sum up this again, I repeat, to quote Val Kilmer in Batman Forever, it just raises too many questions. Mostly, why was this comic even made?
All right.
It's a thumbs down, John. Just get, you know what it is. I got to take a minute to
James has to cool off. Here's the thing. I don't disagree with a lot of what James said, but I also don't hate this comic nearly as much as James. Because here's the thing, I actually got, this is weird. From a Spider-Man fan standpoint, this comic, in my opinion, I mean, people are free to disagree with me. This comic, in my opinion, is awful. It's not a good comic. Not to me. But for some reason, I actually strangely enjoy it. It's weird because I don't like what they're doing with the Black Cat. I don't like that Peter Parker acts like a freaking idiot because he's obsessed with the idea of casual Fridays and being Mr. Fun Boss. I don't like that idea. I don't like the self-referential criticism of Superior Spider-Man that James brought up. I don't like any of this stuff. Two things I do like. I like the art. I think I disagree with James. I think the art looks good.
I never liked Randall's art, even going back to when I was a kid and I was jumping on Spider-Man books for the first time, like 12 years ago. And I was jumping on indie only books that were amazing and spectacular. One had John Romita Jr. art, and the other one had Ramos art. I remember breaking up my first issue of Spectacular, I'm like, this art is shit. It was like I think it was a Doc Ock art, whatever it was. And I was like looking at it, and I'm like, this is shit.
So I like the art. I think this art looks good. And to be honest with you, I did like the scene where Peter teams up with Pedro, Mary Jane's boyfriend. I thought it was a good scene because I liked the dynamic that they had, and I liked that they were able to work together so well. And plus, I just like Spidey teaming up with these civil servants and just trying to save the day. I always think of it as the fictional superhero is helping the real superhero, because the real superheroes in our world, firefighters, police officers, our soldiers in uniform.
Well, I like that too. Can I clarify that? I like that too. I just didn't like how it all ended for the whole thing of she deserves him because he doesn't risk his life like I do, even though I totally had to save him from a burning building. Everything else with him and her, like I said, I like that him and Peter was like teaming up because it gets across the viewer. You're not supposed to hate Ollie. You're actually supposed to kind of like him because he is a nice guy.
Yeah, so I like that. And one other thing I did like, I do like Jameson working for the Fact Channel, aka quasi Fox News, because I like that. So should we just? I know this person's name is Natalie Long. Should we just call her Megan Kelly? I like the fact that J. Jonah Jameson is at Fox News, because if there's one person in the Marvel Universe who would probably end up on Fox News, it's J. Jonah Jameson. So yeah, I like that. It's funny. But other than that, there's really no saving grace for this issue. I don't like the Mary Jane scene. I don't like the Black Cat. I don't like Peter Parker being Mr. Fun Boss because it's overdone. I don't like the self-referential criticism. I don't like any of this. For some reason, I don't hate this comic though. I do like the Electro scene at the end because I like Electro. All right, I like the character in general, not just the movie version. I've always
like a god named Sparkles, John. That's all it is, right?
He is the only god, James. So yeah, you know what? I give this issue a thumb sideways because this issue from everything that I know of Spider-Man should be awful. It should absolutely be terrible. But I get a weird enjoyment out of it that I really can't describe. I don't know what it is.
Hey John, who am I? I'm blue, wearing a hood, with a disfigured, scarred face and shooting lightning out of my hands. Who am I?
Jamie Foxx?
No, I'm the Emperor from Star Wars. That's why I don't like Jamie Foxx's Electro, because they had to rip off the Emperor and the Riddler. It's like just write Maxwell Dillon. Just write the fucking rich guy version he was in the James Cameron script. At least that's original, and you're not ripping off anybody.
All right, but as much as James hated that issue, I'm kind of curious what he's going to think of these next issues that I'm going to recap right now.
Oh, the original Sin issues.
Yes.
Well, let's just say the Spider-Man arc in the original Sin Spider-Man tie-ins are a lot better than the actual book they're tying into. Because other than a small, hey, I got to go Avengers business, it doesn't have any other tie-in to original Sin whatsoever. Really.
So, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, Number 4. Where do we even begin with this? Well, where we begin is very simple. Sorry, I had an itch. Parker Industries over on Pier 64. All right, people, here we go. Anti-electronetting test number 1. And so what is Peter's idea? He's going to run this very powerful electricity experiment that could probably kill a man and probably kill 100 men with a live person inside the test suit with no guarantee that this will not end badly. Yay, Peter Parker. Best boss ever. And so all of a sudden, Peter gets a call. Let's try this again. And this time increase the power to 1 sec. Yes! Peter, what is it? Shh, Anna, over here. Is this a Spider-Man thing? Yeah, the Avengers are calling in everybody. It's a code Omega. A kiss the world goodbye scenario. Isn't that great? Yes. Peter Parker is happy that the world is ending. People are dying. Because remember, this is Mr. No One Dies. And he's happy that this is a kiss the world goodbye scenario where people can very well die.
He said it's because they trust him again, but it's still out of the place.
That's just, I gotta call that crap where I see it because that's ridiculous.
It's because, that means they trust me again. No, it's because that the world's coming in, so they're calling in everybody.
So we get to the scene, and what is Spider-Man's first reaction to this Code Omega situation? He doesn't start going in and kicking the crap out of people. He doesn't start going in and webbing some people up. What does he do? Sing, Falcon, Kitty Pryde, good to see you. It's me, Spidey, not Doc Ock. Spidey, Hulk, Wolvie. Don't know if you heard, but I got mind swap with. Shut up, kid. Now's not the time. Thank you, Wolverine, because I honestly wanted to say that.
It's just mostly being played off as, if I can interrupt you for John, because I have to bring this up, it's just being played off as, oh yeah, we didn't write all these other character development issues where he actually talked to these people he has histories with and said, hey, it wasn't me, guys, it was Otto, and actually explained so. No, we had to jam it all in here in a tie-in to a fucking event that Peter was barely in.
And so, just at that moment, the villain of the scene sets off the Watcher's eye. But it's not an eye anymore. It's a bomb full of secrets. And what do bombs do? They go boom. So many pretty little secrets all now out in the wild. This will be fun to watch. And so, what dirt do we find? What dirt do we find on Peter Parker? That he, let's see, what did he do?
Make a deal with the devil?
No, we don't find that out. What else did he do?
Shooting a guy when Spock was in his body?
No, we don't see that.
Accidentally being caused of death with Gwen Stacy with her neck snapping?
No, we don't see that either. What do we see? Oh, that's what we see. We see a spider bite someone else.
The sin that he sees, only connection to him is that the spider bit somebody else that day too.
Merciful, sweet Jesus, where do we even begin with this? I'll put it out there right now. I don't hate this comic either, but
he's in a fetal position too. It's like, no, Ezekiel, why did you lie to me? Which is the point that I brought up even last issue. But it's like the way he's doing. It's like everybody else. Like the things that they saw during this arc were like, Cap found out about the Illuminati being back. Thor found out that he had a long lost sister. Tony Stark found out that he wasn't really the birth child of his parents. It was a lie this whole time. He was actually genetically altered to be with their DNA after they adopted him. There was all this really screwed up things. And Peter says somebody else got bit by the spider.
So who is this? Who is this? It's Cindy Moon. And it turns out that after she got her spider powers, she couldn't control them. And so Ezekiel came in and said he could help and said he would train her. And she was making excellent progress, but it was as he feared, and they didn't have a choice, and she must stay inside until they know for sure. And what's the code to get into the secret base? 616-001.
It's just like DC, how everything was like the TV channel news was channel 52. There was 52 universes. There was a 52-week mega event called 52. 52 rooms on everybody's apartments were room 52. 52, new 52. And this is the same thing here. 616, 616, 616.
So Spider-Man looks over at Thor. He looks at the Hulk. He looks at Luke Cage, and he says, "What just happened? What just happened? Was I the only one who saw? Oh no! I can't stay here. That girl, all this time, she's been." And then he flashes back to Spider Island, and he remembers Madam Web telling him that he could give up, and the web will reweave itself, and another Spider-Man will take his place. And he was like, "She was the one that Madam Web meant. That girl, Cindy Moon. She could have replaced me."
Or she could have meant Kane.
So Peter breaks into the vault area. "Hello, Peter." "What? Don't be alarmed. This is an automated message. If you're hearing this, it means sensors have detected you're here and that you've come alone. But what's truly improbable, this means that you have survived Molin's attack, and I haven't. If that's the case, there's something you should know. You are not alone. There's another like you, a spider, and there's a reason I've kept this from you, Peter. I'm done listening to you." Peter, you know he can't hear you, right? Because he's dead, Jim.
And thank you, comic, for making Ezekiel the frickin' Gosei of Spider-Man. There's a simple explanation for why I didn't tell you about her. I don't care.
Yes, for those of you who don't get that reference, that's the Power Ranger Super Megaforce reference.
Where literally the Black Ranger asks, "Why am I the Green Ranger now in this new Japanese footage?" And he goes, "Well, there's a simple explanation for that." And then he goes, "Go Rangers, there's a mission to take care of." His answer for everybody, whatever that whole season was, there's a simple explanation for that. And he didn't tell them what that explanation was.
So Cindy senses that Peter's out there. "Hello? Someone out there? Cindy? Cindy Moon? Can you hear me? It's Spider-Man." "What? For real? It's you?" "Yeah, and I'm here to get you out. No one should have to live like this. Don't ask me how, but I know the code." "Don't. You can't. Didn't they tell you what would happen? If you open that door, Moreland will come." "Yeah, they told me the same thing. Don't worry. You've been in there a while. There's something no one's told you." And so she like jumps on him and attacks him because she's like, "You idiot, do you know what you've done?" And then far, far away, in the Loom world, what was that? The Spider Bride? "There you are, the spinner at the center of the web. It's time. The great hunt begins. From this moment on, let all hell break loose. Moreland knows he'll devour every last one of us, gorge himself on all our brothers and sisters." Wow, she's everywhere. Her spider speed has mine beat. Okay, two things. One, I'm an only child, and two, there's something you really need to hear about Moreland. "What?" "He's dead, Jim." "He's dead?" "Yeah, I killed him." "Oh, yay, I'm free." Wow. You just went from like one end of the emotional spectrum to the other in 0.2 seconds.
Well, to be fair, she hasn't had human contact in over a decade. Well, over a decade in real time, not Marvel Society timescale, but still.
Yeah, okay, but it's like, so she webs herself, she's jumping around, and and Spider-Man's like, "Whoa there, you're not bounding around with spider powers in your civvies. You need a mask." And she's like, "Ah, right, superhero suit, got that covered. I'm just gonna spew webbing from my fingers." Which to be honest, this isn't really like a criticism of the comic. This is just like more of a general observation. That's really kind of freaky. I don't know why. It freaks me out every time I see that in the art. But she spins herself. Well, what she does is she just covers herself in webs, and she says, "Call me Silk." So they go out. They start swinging.
Spider-Woman was already taken. Like, let me repeat that. Spider-Woman was already taken for the 20th time.
So they go out. They start swinging around the city, and they go to Cindy's old home, and she realizes, it's my home, but my family, they've moved. I have no idea where they are, if they're even still alive. And it's actually kind of a genuinely heartfelt scene. It's kind of a hurtful scene. And so she's like, "I have to know, how many years of my life did I lose? When could I have come out of that bunker?" "What? What are you asking? When exactly did Moreland die?" "Exactly? Well, that's tricky. Well, the first time I lured him into..." "Wait, what do you mean the first time? I've gone up against him twice. He died both times." "You moron!" "Ow, that was lightning fast. Nothing I could do to avoid it. It means he could come back. He could be out there somewhere right now." "Well, when you put it like that, you're joking. How dare you?" "It's kind of my thing." And so she's like, "Yeah, bitch, I'm going to kill you because because of you, I just wasted 10 years of my life in a bunker, and so I'm going to pretty much punch your face out.
No, it's mostly just fuck you because you took me out of the bunker, now we're screwed or we're both going to die.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, now I've spent 10 years in a bunker for nothing. So she's like, I'm going to kill you, but first I need to kiss you.
But first, I'm going to need to F-U-C-K you.
Okay, here's the thing. We've dropped the F-bomb so many times on this show. It's actually kind of weird to hear James, like, be afraid to say it.
Okay, I wasn't afraid to say it. I just wanted to prolong it by spelling it out, John.
So, yes, issue 4 ends with Peter Parker and Cindy Moon kissing because comics. All right. Issue 5. We're gonna. I don't think I mentioned this before, but we're plowing through 4, 5, and 6 as just one recap because it's basically one story, and we figure it's quicker this way. Guess where issue 5 starts? The Slide Away. A secret gambling parlor on the Lower East Side. James, who do you think is here at the Slide Away?
Batman?
No, it's not Batman.
John Travolta?
No, it's not John Travolta. No, it is the Eel. Yes, we open the issue with really bad eel puns. So the Eel is, he's getting ready. He's trying to look professional. He's trying to look badass. And all of a sudden, Felicia Hardy comes in and says, "Fair warning, Eddie. This black cat's crossing your path, moving in on your action. If you're a smart eel, you'll slip away. Lover." Ha, Hardy, you killed me. Come on, everyone in this town knows you're a joke. Why don't you go back to taking milk baths with Spider-Man? Oh, see, here's the thing. I'm a thief, Eddie. I take what I want, and tonight I'm stealing your thunder. Or rather, that's what my friend here is doing. Holy, it's Electro! Crazy cat, you crazy? You're throwing it with Electro. He killed people. Really? Because I'd bet my life on him. No, wait. I meant yours. Max, be a dear. Kill some people. Felicia, maybe you should step back, huh? Max, please. There's nothing you could do that would shock me.
It hurts, John. It hurts.
We're just getting started, buddy. We're just getting started. Let's go to the Upper West Side. A rooftop overlooking the... Who cares? Look with... I'm not kidding you. The caption here is the Upper West Side. A rooftop overlooking the ... Who cares? Look what's going on here.
It's like the narrator, a.k.a. Dan Saw, is like, hey, look, spider sex. Hey, look over there, spider sex. No, don't pay attention to me. Spider sex.
I think it might actually be Nick Lowe who's in charge of those captions, like caption things, but either way.
Well, then Nick Lowe's like, hey, don't pay attention to me. It's spider sex.
Spider sex.
Spider sex.
Because comics. There's a moment where I can't even remember my own name, let alone hers. I'm Spider-Man, and she's Silk, Cindy Moon. Just met her, don't know anything about her, other than I can't let go. I can't... Jesus Christ. I can't stop. I can't... No, mask stays on, baby. It's okay, I know who you are, Peter. What? What? Okay, that was the mental cold shower I needed.
He gets more paranoid as he knows his secret. Only Spider-Man is the guy who gets more paranoid when he finds out somebody's secret.
So basically, the spider sex is broken up by her saying his name out loud.
His cockblock is her saying Peter. Roman guy's cockblock is when she says another guy's name, not your name,
like,
Peter.
That's the first time I've ever. It's like that's the first time I've ever heard of something like that happening.
Remember, John, he punched he punched Captain America for not telling him Venom's secret identity, and here
Don't get me started again, Markin.
It was his.
All right. So maybe you were right. Maybe I shouldn't have opened up your bunker. And if Moreland is out there, maybe the smart move would be to put me back. No, the damage has been done. You have no idea what I've missed. Peter, you're the first person I've kissed in 10 years.
Well, then maybe it's not really the whole spider hormone thing, and maybe it's just more of he's the first male contact she's seen in years. And that's a lot of frustration to build up, let's just say.
So back at Fox News headquarters, some guy is saying, Mr. Jameson, there's something you should know before we go live. Ms. Decker. I just said some guy, and that was a girl. I'm sorry. I blame Humberto Ramos. Mr. Jameson, there's something you should know before we go live. Ms. Decker, I assure you, I'm no stranger to live television. I used to be the mayor of this major metropolis, remember? And so they tell him that he's getting bumped because they're interviewing Parker Industries about their new supervillain prison. But a random intern says, we've been running the Parker Industries upfronts, but the person they're sending over is Johnny Jaffrey. We can't seem to reach her. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that in the last issue, so Johnny got kidnapped. Sorry about that. I was too distracted by the bullshit that was the rest of the issue. So Johnny is being held up in what looks like a 5-star resort. Champagne, caviar, and handcuffs. Gotta say, not what I was expecting. So Electro's like interrogating her, and she's like, look, I don't want to do this. We are wasting our time and resources on ways to capture and cure you. Wait, did you say cure? Yeah, whatever. Top me off, will you? Just give me some of the Bollinger this time. I need more alcohol.
They can't do it. Sorry, I'm kind of reading ahead here to recap, and then Electro with blue lightning and hoodie and lightning eyes.
Yeah, so back in an abandoned warehouse in the bad part of town. Yes, thank you. In the bad part of town. So Mr. Negative and Phil Urich, a.k.a. the Hobgoblin, a.k.a. the Goblin King, a.k.a. the Goblin Knight, a.k.a. whatever he's calling himself now. He's actually calling himself the Goblin King now. They're waiting for the eel, and all of a sudden the eel comes crashing through the ceiling. You know why? Because, boys, I'll have what he was having. Cat, you were not invited. I was his +1, dear. And now that he's out, I'm the one and only. Deal me in. I'm ready to play in the big leagues. And so she says, face it, me and your boys club here have a lot in common, but that's about to change because I'm going to do something you boys never could. Smash the spider and break the man. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, James, do you remember when we spent an hour just talking about how this chick does nothing but say lover and take milk baths and screw up Spider-Man's fights against the Hobgoblin?
Yeah.
And remember how we said that it was so bad it was good?
There's a reason why when you had me do issue 3, I jokingly called her now Spider-Man's hater and not lover, John.
Yes. So back at Peter's apartment.
There's a reason why I'm groaning while you review this. It's because it hurts.
Back at Peter's apartment, Anna Maria comes in. Peter, you hear? It's urgent. I've tried everywhere. You're not answering your texts, and no matter how many times I call, you never pick up. Anna? I can explain. Anna. Okay. You're making out with a Spider Woman on the ceiling. Right. Well. Hey, Ghostface, can you help me out here? There's a simple explanation for that. You back off. He's mine now, understand? Whoa, personal space, lady. Who the hell are you, Miss Spider-Woman person? I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. I'm actually very mad at him, but when we're together, our spider sides kick in, and spider sides? That's silly. No, it's for real.
No, it was a shitty villain from the 90s that still came from better shit than this comic.
But it's your spider side? Yeah, it's for real. That's stupid. Stop dissing the plot in its own book. We know it's stupid.
Stop dissing JMS shit that's better than this.
We know it's a stupid plot, but we need the audience to go along with it. So Anna Maria's like, whatever. You guys can fuck later. Just I need Peter to go down to Fox News and give an interview.
It's almost the point, Sean, that I'm waiting for Anna to go, I seen his dick when Otto was inside his body. It's not really that impressive.
But Peter's like, but I'm in the middle of important stuff, Anna. Spider-Man stuff. I don't want to go to school, Mom. I don't want to go to school. That's what this sounds like. I swear to God. It's just...
I want to hang out with the hot Asian chick with spider powers like me.
I don't want to go to school, Mom.
I didn't even know I had that fetish.
Oh, jeez. We've taken a dark turn, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's what's going on here, John. We're not taking a dark turn. The comic took a dark turn. His whole point of wanting to stay home is so he can bang her, John.
So Peter brings Cindy to Fox News headquarters, and he runs into J. Jonah Jameson, and he says, Jonah, I'm glad to see you got yourself a job. Good job. And he introduces him to Cindy, blah, 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 blah. He's talking to Natalie Long.
You mean the bitch who hates Star Wars?
Yes. Welcome back. This is Natalie Long, and you're watching the Fact Channel. We were expecting one of the main partners of Parker Industries for today's announcement, but in the last-minute surprise, we have the company's CEO, Peter Parker. Welcome, Peter. Hi, Natalie. Thanks for having me. So he's talking about the supervillain prison, blah, 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 and all of a sudden, hey, pal, close set. Say, how'd you get by the rest of security? Well, for me, the electric locks were easy. As for everything else, I had a little help. Ain't that right, kitty cat? Please, Max, getting in here was so easy, it was downright criminal. Everybody, listen up. There's only one thing that Sparkles and I want. Sparkles? Yeah, didn't you hear? It's what Andrew Garfield called you in the new movie. I hate that name. Go complain to the British guy. I don't care. Now let's get back to the plot. Spider-Man. I want Spider-Man, and if he doesn't show in the next 15 minutes, his good friend Peter Parker is as good as dead. Oh, come on. I'm not Spidey's friend anymore. I held a news conference about it last week. Yeah, and how's that working out for you, dumbass? Ow. Okay, that was too hard. I didn't mean to facepalm so hard that I hurt myself. So, yeah, Electro and Black Cat start breaking stuff. Oh, God. I can't even with this comic. I can't even.
Can we just call it quits on it to repeat like Gwen Stacy died or something? Something good? Because this arc is just bad.
So Black Cat and Electro keep going. They break stuff. Silk shows up. She tries to fight them, and Peter sneaks out. He becomes Spider-Man. He's trying to get through to the cat. He's saying, come on, Felicia, this is wrong. We're friends. Not anymore, Spider. And after what you did, never again. That wasn't, shut up. And so Peter, Felicia, Electro, Silk, they're all fighting. Electro hits Spider-Man with a cheap shot, and he hits him in the back. Spider-Man's basically taken out. Poor little Spider, look at you, down and out, and right near the one who wants to hurt you the most. In the same way that you hurt me, you showed the world my true face. Now let's show them yours. And all of a sudden, Mark Millar is somewhere going, hey, that was my idea.
And suddenly somewhere's going out going, this is the woman who never cared about his secret identity.
Don't you dare take him out of the shot. Do you know what this is, man? What? It's Christmas. This is J. Jonah Jameson live from the Fact Channel in Times Square, bringing you the scoop of the century. Get ready for your close-up, sweetie. Please don't. Can't move. The man behind the mask, the face behind the fraud, the secret identity of Spider-Man. I'd really rather be reading that comic right now. You know why? Because at least when Civil War came out, I liked Civil War. I know I said I didn't like it on this podcast like a year ago. My opinion on it's kind of changed since then. I like Civil War.
I feel like I gotta apologize to a certain group of people after this show for how negative I've been with our reviewing these issues.
But see, here's just Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's just like I'm got the Marvel. I got the comics right here. I even got Marvel Unlimited ones up here too to kind of zoom in and things. And I'm just like, and I'm even going a little bit ahead on John at time, and I'm groaning because this issue just gets worse.
And so we cap things off with issue number 6. My God, I still have a whole other issue of this.
It's that bad. Oh. I'm mad because it's like you're getting to the point of this, and I'm like, I just John, you know comics bad when you're recapping something and you're halfway through it. I'm like, oh God, you're still halfway through the comic.
So, long story short, sum up the beginning of this.
Long story short, I'm rereading Spider-Man 300 because I need some good comics.
So we have Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, number 6. The cliffhanger from the previous issue, it's thrown out the window. Silk webs up his face and the cameras never see it. It's fine. They get out of there. Jonah was blocking the shot, so they couldn't have seen Spider-Man even if they wanted to. Spider-Man and the Silk escape, and so Kat says, so the spider's got extra muscle with him. Maybe we need some too. What do you mean? Nothing. Go back and check on our captive. Now I know where we need to go next. So Kat shows up at the bar with no name. They're toasting to a girl that Electro accidentally killed in the previous issue. It's actually kind of a good scene. Until the bitch in black shows up.
And she's not even Black Cat. She's just a bitch in black.
Yeah, let's call her that.
Black Cat died when Otto punched her. The real Black Cat died when he punched her. A random scroll POW from the Secret Invasion escaped from Shield custody, saw the dead body of Black Cat, and decided to change places with her. Because that's the only way you can explain this.
Yeah, can we make that continuity, please? Let's just have that be continuity. Hey, boys, private party, or can anyone join? See, I'm looking for a few good men to join my crew. What do you say? Get out. Excuse me?
That's the 5th time this Archie said that.
You're not welcome here, not while you're working with Electro. And so, at Peter's apartment, Cindy and Anna Maria are trying to take care of him. There's a continuity error here because it wasn't actually... They're trying to get they're using a dissolving thing for the webbing because they can't get it off of Peter's face, and she's like, yeah, this is the second time you've webbed yourself up in a week. And it was like, no, okay, comics, you're not even following yourself. It wasn't Otto's advanced super sticky webbing that webbed him. It was Silk stuff. It should be able to tear off within an hour, guys.
Silk has the organic webbing. It's not the same as Otto's webbing.
Yeah, it's like, guys, you're not even following your own damn story. So, yeah, besides this massive continuity error...
They're following that Peter Parker's an idiot, John, and how much better Silk is than him.
So, literally, for the second time in another issue, we get another one of these scenes. I don't want to go to school, Ma. I don't want to go. Peter,
This ain't Peter Parker. This is Peter Palmer, a whiny, out-of-control little man-child.
You have to go demonstrate your shit. But I don't want to go to school, Ma.
I don't want to read this comic.
So, Anna Maria says, you have to go or I'll kill you. Peter, maybe you shouldn't go at this point. I don't give a crap.
Peter, why don't you just tell Anna Maria to go screw herself?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because there's a negative that comes up in the next issue with Anna Maria, and I'm going to bring it up when we get to it. But right now, this is more of it of Anna Maria's whole, you got to be more responsible, Peter. And granted, Peter's acting really irresponsible, but even earlier, she's like, Peter, you got to be more responsible for your company when the world's coming to an end. They could probably need Spider-Man's help. But you need to be more responsible here for your company.
And so, yeah, you got Black Cat.
Black bitch.
Yeah, the bitch in black. Sorry, you got the bitch in black. She comes in. She starts interrogating Sajani. You're going to tell me everything, starting with where and when I can get my hands on this thing. Please, you don't have to do this, ... We'll get back to that later. So they go to the demonstration. The bitch in black and Electro, they sneak in, and the bitch disguises herself as, I'm going to get attacked by feminists for calling her that. I'm sorry.
But it's different, because we're not calling her a bitch because she's a woman. We're calling her a bitch because of the way she's acting.
So the bitch puts on some nerdy glasses.
That would be no different than me calling Peter immature man-child. Because he is.
So we got Felicia we got the bitch putting on glasses to look nerdy because she's trying to screw up the demonstration. Peter brings Cindy along because comics, because volume 3, because I hate my life. They suit up. They go out to fight Electro and the Black Cat. Peter tries to get through to the bitch once again. He's unsuccessful. She throws the switch, and Electro overloads, because what she actually does is she double crosses Electro and overloads him when she said that she wouldn't. And so basically Electro's going to die unless Spider-Man saves him. So Spidey does that in true Spidey fashion, and that's nice. Spider-Man saves him. He can't get through to Felicia, but Spider-Man and Electro need Silk to save them because Silk. So Silk saves the day in a book that's called The Amazing Spider-Man, not The Amazing Spider-Silk. Fox News has a field day with it. Cindy goes there to intern with Fox News. Felicia says that for years I was the little thief pretending to be a socialite, but this is new. I'm done pretending. This cat's going to be a queen of the thieves, queen of crime, queen of this whole town.
This comic sucks.
And nothing and no one are going to get.
The sad thing is, this is hindsight, and we're complaining about this because we know that by issue 18, when this run ends, it doesn't get better.
It gets worse. And then you read the solicitations for Miles Morales, Spider-Man #4, that comes out in like May or whatever, and it's worse.
And then you read volume 4, and it's Tony Stark. It's Slot. Listen, this is me being serious. This is James being serious today at Slot for a second. It's obvious, even though you said you still got like 5 years of Spider-Man stories, and they're gonna have to kill you to get you off the book or whatever you said, or fire you or whatever it is. Dan, read between the lines. You don't want to write Peter Parker because it's obvious and superior. You don't want to write Peter Parker. Maybe it's time for you to get off the book and let somebody else who does want to write about Peter Parker.
So Johnny comes back and she says, "Yeah, I was forced to give up our schematics to Electro and the Black Cat. We're just glad you're safe, Sejani. Don't worry about it." But then it cut to a flashback where Sejani sells Peter out because she's worse than Michelle Gonzalez. She's Sejani Jaffrey behaving badly. And then Peter walks off like a moron.
Only she got her comeuppance. Michelle didn't. Michelle just moved away and screwed Peter out of an apartment that his name was on the lease of, and not her.
And so Peter's like, I can feel it. We're going to change the world. This is going to work. Next up, this might not work. Literally, that's the caption at the end of this.
It's normal Parker luck. What comes up must come down. It's like, oh, it's going to get worse by issue 18. Only issue 1 of the next volume is going to completely make what happened in issue 18 look like meh.
Where do I even begin with this? Just where?
How many times did I facepalm, groan, and like bang my head on my laptop?
How many times did I whine that I was still recapping this issue? We just did 3 issues.
It get better. It's like, oh god.
It's 3 issues. I'll go first with my recap.
Go.
With my review. Issue 4. Screw Peter Parker being happy that the world's going to end. So thank you for that. It's not as bad as punching Steve Rogers in the face, because that didn't make me want to rip a comic in half. I didn't really, but I was just like, screw that.
You got the trade paperback there. I know you probably collected the issues when they came out. So, did you tear up your original copy and replace it with the trade?
No. We all know what happened to the original copy, except for the viewers, so I'm not gonna. It's not the place to get into it. Decent. Just Spider-Man is an idiot because he can't figure out that because Moreland came back, he can do it again. Spider-Man's an idiot. Spider-Man and Silk boning because reasons. Okay. The Silk debut is decent. I'll give it that. It's a decent intro to her character. There are some genuinely good moments where she's realizing her family is gone, that she's missed some years of her life. I get that. That stuff's all good. The artwork is still good. There were some good moments throughout the 3 issues, like the fight in issue 5 and the fight in issue 6. The fights are generally decent. They really are. They're not bad. They're pretty competent fights, except for the part where Spider-Man has to be saved by Silk because comics.
Because this run.
I don't like the Spider-Man and Silk sex thing because I don't need it. I don't want to go to school, Mom, because he doesn't actually say. I was doing that in parody, but it's what it reads as. It's just like, come on.
But it's different. Instead of it's I don't want to go to school, Mom, the kids make fun of me. It's I don't want to go to school because I want to bang the hot Asian chick who's on my back, who wants me.
It's just no. And it's like Anna Maria summed it up in one. When they were driving to the demonstration in issue 6, Anna Maria has a line about how she feels like she's dealing with 2 kids on their prom night. At least I think it's in that issue. And I was just like, yep, pretty much.
Doesn't Silk herself even say that when she described her and Peter in Spider Island when people were asking her about why she's getting really clingy to a lot of people and being the Spider Bride? She says, because when I get near my Peter Parker, we're like 2 teenagers for the first time or something. It's like 2 first-time teenagers or it's something really creepy like that.
See,
it's like, ew. It's like I get the references that they're horny teenagers, but ew. Thank you for putting that in my comic game slot that I did not need.
And I want to throw this out there. Like, I went into these 3 issues, like the 3 issues that we just recapped. I actually had a very similar position to the one that I took with issue 3, whereas these are terrible comics, but I can still enjoy them. But it's like I'm recapping these, and maybe it's just because like the way I was saying it, but I was just like, maybe it reads better than the way I recapped it. But I was just like,
no, you read it just right. Peter was immature man-child.
I was just like, these are awful. I was just like, this is awful, and I'm just like,
nobody's likable in this whole arc. Can we just honestly say that?
No one. It's like, it's just you have some decent fights and you have some good art, but overall, it's just Spider-Man's written like an immature man-child who can't stop, who can't go fight supervillains because he has to get laid. And then you have, I won't touch Fox News because Fox News, by just existing, makes fun of it.
No, we don't want to offend anybody. Just say enough said.
I was just going to say Fox News, by just existing, that's all the humiliation they need. And just come on. I like Jonah working for Fact Channel. I mean, we'll say it correctly. It is the Fact Channel, but it's Fox News. Everyone knows it's Fox.
Well, John, if you want to replace your original copies, I'll give it to you for 5 cents.
Yeah, I'm not paying that. I mean, like, I do like Jonah working there. That's the perfect fit for that character. That's perfect. Everything else, though, just thumbs down. I can't even, like, I'm struggling for things to say here because most of my thoughts I expressed during my recap. James.
Hello?
Yeah, James. Yeah,
okay,
James.
I froze for a second. But to say that the God saved me from not going over the shitstorm that is shitty 3 issues. Well, let me review the amazing Silk guest starring the spectacular Spider-Man, shall we? Because that's all it is. It's the pilot for her own book. And this is a big problem with Volume 3. It felt like Slott was more interested in writing everybody else and their dog. What Peter Parker? You got Cindy Moon and Peter's whole horny, want to screw each other every 5 seconds. I mean, me and John had made a lot of jokes about this, about the issue, calling it an Asian fetish, all that stuff I have said. But that's what it comes off as. It's Dan Slott. I know this. No, this is not personally, but it comes out as like almost a creepy fetish of Dan Slott. And then they want to have sex because they're spider people. It just comes off creepy and weird. You can have it that there's an attraction for them, and not that they just have to bone. And it's just, you got the goddamn stupid thing with the eye telling them about Ezekiel. It's like everybody, when Original Sin was coming out and how they built it was like the Marvel Universe is going to shake to its rafter. Everybody has to repent for their original sins. And you think Peter Parker and all the shit that's gone on in his books, including a deal with the devil. And that's not his sin. His sin is Ezekiel not telling him during the Morlon spider tone crap that, oh yeah, there's a girl in a bunker, you might want to go check on her. You got the setup for Morlon's return and her getting pissed off at him. Because she has a point there, because one of the complaints about the other, it's just Morlon, hey, I'm alive again. Any explanation how you came back? Nope. Okay then. I just came back because I'm an evil spirit who hunts spiders. That's not really a reason how you physically came back after being shot in the head, but okay. And it's just like, so you got that set up for the Morlon crap. Or as one of the guys from Comic Pop, shout out to them, Sal likes to call him more Loon because of how goddamn stupid he is in these arcs. You got that. You got how nobody's likable. Peter is written like 15-year-old Peter Parker, but not the good 15-year-old Peter Parker in the Ditko days. Not the other good Peter Parker 15-year-old from the freaking Ultimate days. No, this is the James Cameron script, horny wanting to get laid Peter Parker. Only times 1,000. He is acting like an immature man-child. He's not likable. Anna Maria keeps on shoving the whole. Anna Maria and Johnny kind of, but not really, are kind of like your company comes first before the world coming to end with this whole watch your eye thing. Your company, our paychecks come before everybody dying. Bullshit. Then you got Silk, who, besides for the moment where it's, oh my god, my family moved away, the rest of it, what is she? She's pissed off at Peter, but she can't help but want to screw him in angry hot sex. And she's a sex object. Let's admit it. She's a sex object. There's no character development, except for see how badass and awesome she is, as she saves the day, while our hero is a mindless idiot who doesn't want to go to work. She doesn't want to go to the interview. I just want to stay home and bake cookies with my mommy. And by cookies with my mommy, I mean banging the hot Asian chick who's saving the day because she's so totally cool and awesome. And that's the problem with it. It's all about promoting Silk. And it's one thing to promote a new character and want to make them look good. It's another thing to do it at the suspense of your main character. You got that. I'm getting a headache just reviewing this. The art shit. And then you got the Black Cat. Rinse and repeat. She's not Felicia Hardy. This ain't the same character no more.
She's the bitch in black.
So this is the issue that pissed me off the most, is when she's attacking the TV studio. The words she's saying and the way she's acting, it's not Black Cat. This is no longer a lover's scorn. This is just what John called her, the bitch in black. She's evil, and it's making me mad, not because, she's a villain. It's because she's not written the way she should be. You're getting me mad at the character for all the wrong reasons. I mean, I could go on for days about these 3 issues, but I want us to keep on going and go on our next 2 issues, so I'll just stop here. This issue sucked. This arc sucked. Original Sin, the event this is tying into sucks. It just sucks.
All right. Now, we're done with that arc, but we still have 2 more issues to go. I'll throw it out there right now. I like these 2 issues a lot more, or at least part of them.
I don't.
But
they're better than the last 3 arcs, but that's like saying Hitler is better than the devil. They're about the same, John. They're both evil and sadistic bastards. And both these comics are bad. It's just one's slightly better than the other one.
But we do have Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, number 7 and number 8 actually have the individual issues for this one. We'll run down the creative team real quick for this one. Dan Slott and Christos Gage on writing, Giuseppe Camuncoli on pencils, Cam Smith on inks, Antonio Fabella on colors, associate editor Ellie Pyle, editor Nick Lowe. James has agreed to do the recap. We are only going to be covering, well, at this moment, we're only going to cover the Ms. Marvel story. So we're gonna tackle both parts of the Ms. Marvel story in both issues. We're just going to do that as one quick recap, and then we'll review that just as one story, and then we'll hit the Spider-Verse backups. So James, go on ahead. Please recap for us the Ms. Marvel team up in ASM Volume 3, number 7 and number 8.
Well, the comic begins with Peter, Cindy, and Anna Maria doing Spider-Man stuff. You know, the normal classic things. Peter's working on his web shooters. Anna Maria's building an Spider-Bot. Cindy's looking for her family for the internet. And then, of course, in normal Spider-Man fashion, Peter has to start banging the Asian chick while he's being sprayed down like water like they're cats. And you get a timestamp to notice that this keeps on going every 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bullshitting you. It's like 9:46, 9:57, 10:06. And then Silk gets pissed off, Silk's up and leaves, and then she swings away, and then this is where, and then you got Miss Marvel doing Miss Marvel thing. Isn't she totally awesome in her book? And then she's like, and then you see her in her normal life, and then she gets a call because something badass is going on. So Miss Marvel has to be pretty awesome, badass Miss Marvel. Then you got the part of the comics that I really hate. The part where Anna Maria makes Peter look like an idiot because Otto was the superior Spider-Man. Because Otto was the one who got everything right. Otto was able to prioritize between his company and saving the world. And instead of Peter just talking to Anna Maria and saying, that's not the point. The point is, my power responsibility is I save everybody. I don't just save people because, well, it's on my day off, or it's my break time, or because it's the weekend, or because I feel like it. I save people because with great power comes great responsibility, because I don't want another kid to go through what I went through when my Uncle Ben was shot. I do that because I don't want that kid to go through what I went through when my uncle was killed by a burglar that I could have stopped with my responsibility. No, what was he go? You're right. Otto was right. I could just stay here at home because the cops can handle it. Peter has always known that the cops can handle it, but the point is he doesn't care because he wants to do the right thing. This is the part of the comic where I just wanted to yell at Anna Maria, your perfect boyfriend who was so much better at being Peter Parker than Peter tried to murder him and stole his life for a year and ruined his relationship with everybody he knew. Score one for Peter, not Otto. But he doesn't tell her that. That kind of irritates me. She brags about how great Otto was and how much better he was than stupid Peter Parker. And it's like, Otto had no right of even being Spider-Man for a year. But I can rant on this for hours, so I'm just going to move on. So yeah, he stays back because she's right, but he doesn't like it, and then he decides later, hey, screw that, I'm Spider-Man, bye. But we're supposed to get this similar. But here's the thing, instead of being like, yay, Peter, you're right, you get the more sense of, no, Anna's right, and that's what kind of irritates me. And then you got Miss Marvel growing super big, and she starts being like a elongated man from DC, and isn't she so awesome that she's saving the world from this evil version of Miss Marvel? And then she's getting beaten up, and oh, here's Spider-Man, he saves her. And, you know, her being the new teenage hero and everything, and, you know, everything. You think Peter would have words of wisdom to her. Nope, she's the one who has to look better and more mature than Peter Parker in his own goddamn book. So now you got more of this shit as they're trying to steal some egg thing, and then the evil Miss Marvel attacks, and does her evil Miss Marvel moves, and then she turns into a gigantic demonoid monster, and then that's the end of this issue to be continued.
So moving on to ASM Volume 3, Number 8, Part 2 of the Ms. Marvel story. We do have the same creative team again. And so, James, why don't you pick it up for us from right there? What happens in ASM Volume 3, Number 8, the Ms. Marvel parts?
Can you just give me a second just to kind of calm down here?
Oh, I thought maybe you were pausing because you didn't have the issue open. Oh, so
no, I'm pausing because I actually need a moment to think, John. I have the original copies here. I don't need to wait for Marvel Unlimited to load up. I'm not going into this without reading the issues first.
So we're pausing because you're letting the hate consume you.
No, the opposite. I'm just letting go.
Let it go.
Issue 8, we begin with Peter and Miss Marvel fighting the evil monster, Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel also acts like how totally cool and awesome this is. It calls this the best day ever. Because isn't she totally an awesome character? You should totally read her own book. And then you got more of this crap as they're fighting the villains and they're running away with the egg thing. And then the evil Miss Marvel is after them, and she goes big in. And we go to Cindy Moon at the Fact Channel, while Cindy Moon is just turning into Silk because isn't Silk so awesome? Then we realize that it's a baby in there. And they're like, what the hell? And then Miss Marvel tries to run away with the baby. And then they're like, whoa, that's shitty, while Peter gets beaten up in a car while Miss Marvel's still running away with the baby. And I really don't give a crap who the baby is or anything. And we see more why Miss Marvel's awesome. And then we realize there's a sonic boom that hits the villains. And it turns out it's some guy. Oh, but wait, that some guy just happens to be the guy from the frickin' Learning to Crawl arc, who was the asshole who thought Spider-Man was just totally his BFF friend and then got angry at Peter for no apparent reason whatsoever. And then, of course, he helps him, and then Peter recognizes him. He hasn't seen this guy in 40, 50 years. But no, he goes, hey, I remember you exactly, and you need a job. Go to Parker Industries. Silk also shows up. She does badass Silk things with her new costume because isn't she totally awesome? Miss Marvel brings the baby back to the kids because isn't she so totally awesome? And then Peter Parker gives Clash a job because isn't he so totally awesome? And then Peter is made to look like an idiot while hiring the next supervillain. And god damn it, this issue's finally done.
So James, you didn't like it, huh?
This art, it would have been good if the comic was Miss Marvel's own book starring Spider-Man. Because that's what it felt like. Slott was writing 2 issues of the Miss Marvel book. And then you got the Clash thing. Learning to Crawl literally just ended, if I recall, that week. I believe it was that .1 issue and the final issue of that, and then the next issue was this issue 7. So it's like, Saw was like, I want to write this totally cool, awesome guy named Clash. He's going to work at Parker Industries, but he's not a classic rogue. I know, I'll write a backstory that puts him in between the lines of the classic Ditko issues. And that's what it kind of feels like. This guy is just here because he takes off the mask and he's like, it's me. Well, who the hell are you? Granted, I just read Learning to Crawl right after this. But at the same time, we haven't ever seen him before or after Learning to Crawl. So it's like, yay, it's some guy. Oh, I'm Clash. Oh, yeah, that's who you are. And then Peter remembers him. Where out of every villain he's taken down, he remembers the whiny teenage asshole. And it's just weird. And he goes and gives the guy a job because people deserve a second chance. Okay. And then you got the Silk stuff, which again is totally how awesome, totally cool, awesome she is. And then it's really short because it's a regular size issues, but with the Edge of Spider-Verse tie-in stuff. So it's like these really short things that when you start to get into the comic, it's done. And then you got the Anna Maria thing, which I already bitched about. I don't want to rant on that again because I'm getting really tired. I'm getting too old for this crud. Literally, that Anna Maria thing, I just wanted to go. I wanted to go in Sploos-Skidoo, we can chew into the comic, and then just yell at Anna Maria that you do realize that your perfect boyfriend you're bragging about how much great and better at being Peter Parker he was than Peter Parker. You do realize that he identity theft and attempted murder of Peter Parker to get that right.
So, James, do you give it a thumbs down?
I hate it in this run. I told you this going when we jumped back on the podcast in Spider-Verse. I hated Volume 3.
Now, I'm going to disagree with James, and I actually quite liked this story. I thought it was really fun. I liked seeing Ms. Marvel.
I respect you for your opinion. I just don't respect this book.
And I thought it was a fun team up between Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel. I disagree. I didn't think that Ms. Marvel took up too much of the book. I thought that it was pretty. I thought the focus was still on Spider-Man. I liked a lot of the banter between them. I liked the dynamic that they had. I like seeing them work together. And plus, I mean, I like the current Ms. Marvel, Kamala. So I like seeing her team up with Peter Parker. So all that stuff was good. I thought there was some really good art by Kevin Coley. Fantastic job by him and the team. There was a bit of clunky dialogue at points throughout the story, but it was nothing that was overly awful. It wasn't anything that directly took me out of it. The big problem that I have with this was Clash, because I don't like Clash and I never want to see him again. I want that character to be erased from existence.
John, we can sum up that character. Everything he does after this, we can basically sum up like this. I should do something. I promised Mr. Parker I would never do something again. I should do something. I did something. I'm sorry, Mr. Parker. I did something. I'll give you one more chance, Clash. It's like clearly Dan Slott's like, I'm setting up him becoming a villain again. But just not quite yet.
So that was my big problem with it. But other than that, I didn't really have a lot of big problems with the story. I actually quite liked it. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, I understand what James was saying about the whole Anna Maria scene. And I do agree with that to some extent, but it didn't really come off that way to me. It actually, it wasn't great or anything, but it didn't come off I guess the way James read it. So I was actually kind of neutral on that. But other than that, I quite liked him as Marvel's story. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was pretty decent. So I actually give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it. And so now let's get where the real fun is, James. There were some backups in these issues that led into the major Spider event of 2014. You mean it wasn't Superior Spider-Man? You mean it wasn't Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, Number 1? You mean it wasn't Original Sin? Nope.
You mean it wasn't Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Nope. It was Spider-Verse. Because that's what Marvel wants you to believe.
Do you want me to tackle these two, or do you want to tackle them?
Why don't I tackle this one and you can tackle the other one? Number 8.
I tackle the Spider-Girl one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So number 7, Dan Slott writer Giuseppe Camicoli pencils, same creative team as before. We start off in Otherworld, the omniversal hub of all cross-time. My name is I'm not even going to try to do a British accent because I'll just fuck it up. But we get introduced to Spider UK, Billy Braddock. Scanner, check Earth's 1983 through 1985. Do you detect any dimensional intrusions? Yes, love. In Earth 1983, New York City. On the screen, please. And what is happening? Moreland is there killing off Spider-Man and his amazing friends. We cut to another world where more, as they're called later, inheritors, Moreland's family and his kind, are killing off more spider people. And then we cut to another world, the Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon. And an inheritor has killed more people. And then Spider UK says, hey, maybe I should do something about this. Oh, I know. I'll go to the, I have to get this information to my superiors. Oh, hey, there are some people killing spider people. Okay. I've got dimensions over here kind of collapsing on themselves. Because this is also at the time where they're setting up Secret Wars 2015. So this is kind of an Easter egg for that. And they say, yeah, we don't have time to deal with your spider crap because We have dimensions collapsing in on themselves. To be honest, that's actually kind of reasonable. Like, I kind of don't disagree with that. But it's like, okay. So a woman pulls Spider UK aside and says, "Look, I do sympathize with your position. Take this, and you will be able to travel along the Great Web. And it is your mission. Find the spiders, keep them safe, and put an end to this slaughter." That was the backup. Because comics. All right. I have one thing written in my note here for the backup. Screw the backup.
I got one thing written here. Screw Dan Slott killing every comic book version of Peter Parker besides the one that he personally liked, which is the 60s one. And, of course, on Ultimate, because that one's currently airing and it's so totally awesome.
First of all, Spider-Man Unlimited is not the same as the 90s show. I want to repeat that.
But the sad thing is, I think, like I said, people have said that Dan Slott's exact quote is, "Well, I'm writing Amazing Spider-Man, so I say it was." When you're not, they weren't the same Spider-Man. You didn't even in the Marvel handbooks when they go down what worlds these things are designated as. You don't even got the same Earth numbering. They're not the same ones. You can't just say they are because you wanted shock value. 80s kids will get pissed off at me for killing 80s Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and it's a really graphic, and it's apparently even me, as someone who's only seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and even I'm looking at it like, dude, you're messed up, having the dog crying over Firestar's dead body as they're laying in a bloody pool themselves. That is screwed up in so many ways. And then he kills off Spider-Man Unlimited, and I'm thinking, okay, they kill Spider-Man Unlimited. I still feel kind of shitty for 80s fans, but Spider-Man Unlimited, at least it was a 90s show. At least he could probably still appear. Dan Slott goes on Twitter and says that he says it's the same one. Fuck!
But it wasn't. That's the thing.
I'm still holding on to that. I'm like, it's to the point that I'm waiting for X-Men 92 to do an issue because that's in the same universe. And from them to say, "Hey, Spider-Man, what's going on? Still alive?" Yes! I'm just waiting for that. But I have a feeling nobody will do that while Dan Slott is on Amazing Spider-Man, because they don't want to upset him.
And so
it's just like, we're killing. I get it, shock value. You got to kill off some legit Spider-Man. You get to say, "Oh, I killed off the Spider-Man from Dimension 93, where he was a stuffed animal." And everybody on Earth are all stuffed animal people. Okay, nobody cares about that because we just literally met that Peter Parker. But it's like, get that, but at the same time, it's almost like deliberate. I'm killing off everybody's childhoods but mine.
So I give this backup a thumbs down, mainly because there is nothing to it. It's just like, oh, hey, they're killing spider people, and they're killing spider people, and they're killing spider people. I don't care. Thumbs down. It's just like, it's so bland, it's not even funny. So it's thumbs down. I'm sorry.
I forgot who it was, but like somebody said somewhere on the internet that it's like, when I think about Spider-Man and his friend and Spider-Man's nutty cartoon, I think about the perfect end for those characters. I do not think Morlun in a comic strip killing them basically like they're nobodies.
And there is something that I should point out here. There is a video out there of Dan Gilvezan, the voice of Spider-Man on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Someone told him about this issue at a convention, and he said, well, to be honest with you, his reaction was not good. He was like, "What the hell is that shit?"
Nobody was. The 90s show, people were on Twitter going, "Wait, you mean my Spider-Man's dead too?" It pissed off a lot. Dan pissed off a lot of people. He pissed off fans. He pissed off people who worked on these cartoons. It's like, dude, these are our shows. What are you doing killing off our Spider-Man like they're jokes? Like they're nobodies because they're cartoon versions.
John Semper ripped Dan Slott a new one.
And then when we get to 8, DeFalco and Friends and Pat Olaf, then you also jump on this. When you get to
what, James? That's a really good segue.
Can we go to the backup that's the main focal point of that cover?
Yep.
Hey, remember Spider-Girl? Because I do, because I used to pick up Spider-Girl for my sister because it was kind of a more kid-friendly Spider-Man book. And it was, targeted obviously the girls. And my sister loved Spider-Girl. She had ups and downs during her run. cancellations and all that stuff. But still, that book was mostly just cheery and happy, and it was more kind of throwback to the old school classics, but in a new generation, so it was kind of a new twist. And it kind of ended all happy. Mayday had a boyfriend. Her family was happy. There was nothing to be worrying about with her book. Everything ended perfectly well for Tom DeFalco, and it was a perfect role. And then Dan Slott had to fuck it all up. Because then we begin with the house is on fire. Her boyfriend's being choked out while Morlon is, or whatever the hell, the wannabe Morlon, who looks just like him, is beating the shit out of her. And shitty Ramo start. And then her boyfriend is famously killed, but not really. And then Maddie is freaking out. And then Peter gets killed because fucking Peter Parker, who's married and happy. Then they set up Mary Jane, possibly being dead, but not before saying, take the baby, save our baby, save our baby. And then so all of a sudden, Mayday is now screaming vengeance, like she's a freaking Frank Miller Batman, like I'll kill you to death. And then everybody you care about, the Peter and the Mary Jane in this universe, that Joe Quesada's exact quote is, well, if you care about Mary, Peter, and Parker so much, then love them in MC2, where Spider-Girl takes place, because that's your Peter Parker, that's your happy ending. Well, obviously not if they fucking died in a burning fire. And then Mayday leaves crying, and she's all pissed off. And then Old Man Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man show up and go, "Come with me if you want to live." And then they leave with the baby. And then more line, their people are like, "We'll get you next time, Spider-Girl." And that it's over while you see shriveled up dead Peter Parker.
And just a quick interlude here. I forgot to give credits. Dan Slott, writer, Humberto Ramos, pencils, Victor Olazaba, inks, Edgar Delgado, colors, Chris Pilos, letters. So, James, how much did you hate it?
It sucks because tying back to issue 7, Slott's not just killing off spider characters that he's currently writing. He literally has the toy box here to use every Spider-Man ever. And he's like, you know what? I'm killing Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. I'm killing 90s Show by claiming he's unlimited. You know what? I'm killing Mayday's family. And it almost felt like, you know what would really piss people off? Remember when we told them back during One More Day and Burn Day, if they want to read a Peter Parker and Mary Jane who are still married and have a family and have grown on together and live happily ever after, read Spider-Girl. Well, don't read Spider-Girl because they don't live happily ever not to mention too, because like Mephisto said, it always ends badly for Peter and Mary Jane. And this is us proving that point by killing him and seemingly killing her in a burning fire. And Mayday's boyfriend, because fuck that guy. And like I said, the worst part about this too is Dan Slott is not just pissing on fans, he's pissing off other creators.
Tom DeFalco was not happy.
Them were pissed. Because like I said, DeFalco and them are like, no. And the fans were pissed too. And like me as a fan, we had every right to be pissed off of these two tie-ins. Because it was done specifically to piss us off. Job well done. You pissed people off who you want to buy your comic.
So, James, is it a thumbs down?
Yes, a thumbs down. It just irritates me. You killed off Mayday's family. Because, fuck it, he's married. We can't have to have a happy marriage on one planet. And then you kill off these people. And it's even to the point that these writers are like, you ruined our endings. You ruined our characters. And that's what it feels like. And here's another reason why I think it really pissed me off personally, because like I said, every Spider-Man fan, I'm sure John has said that, everybody has ever thought about this fan theory, fanfic idea of every Spider-Man coming together and teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me with that was 90s Show Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that was Mayday. Part of that was even Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Part of me was the Hostess Fruit Pies Peter Parker that you killed off. He killed off people because obviously he didn't want to. It basically, let's call it what it is. He killed them off because he didn't want to use them. It was like, oh, I got so many people I want to use. I don't want to use these ones, so I'll have them be killed off by Marlon. And it's like, but you're messing with things here. Like, I watched the 90s Show recently on Hulu. I re-marathoned throughout the whole first season, like, literally 2 days ago. And I don't want to think that Peter Parker ended up in the shitty Unlimited show and then died from Marlon. And I refuse to. That's not my canon. That's not him. No matter what Slott says, I'm the creator of Amazing Spider-Man, so a writer of Amazing Spider-Man, so I get to say who it is. No, you're wrong there. It's not that Spider-Man. The Spider-Man who got me into the book is not dead by Merlin. And Marvel, I really want a job with you. That way I can write Spider-Man 94. So the first issue that can be 90-year-old Spider-Man saying, I'm not dead, bitches. Middle finger to you, superior secret spider war, the first crisis on Infinite, whatever you are. Because that's all it is. This is Spider Crisis. Let's call it spade a spade here.
My review, see James's review, pretty much. I have nothing new to say. Just
can we say, John, this is our most negative episode on the podcast, and it's saying something like our Sins Past episode?
I think it is probably our most negative episode on the whole show, and that's weird because, like,
that's not a good thing either. Because I don't think people tune into a podcast to hear a bunch of 40-year-olds, 20-year-olds bitch about a comic book.
Well, it's just like, here's the thing. I mean, usually I'm the positive one. Usually I'm the one who says, oh, yeah, I like this part, or I really like this.
And normally I'm the guy who goes, man, I don't want to be that nigga guy who bitched about a comic book on a podcast. And yet I'm always that guy. But it's because I'm just not enjoying this run.
And it's just like, and it's unfortunate. And maybe it was telling that we had stopped the show while these issues were coming out, because we would have hated our lives if we had to talk about them.
Let's just call it what it is, John. We delayed the inevitable. We're reviewing them now. And it's pretty sad. We can't just look back at these like the Peter Parker Black Cat thing where we were making jokes about how so bad it's good it is. Because in hindsight, it all worked out in the end, or it was not as bad as we're making jokes because of the timeline and when it took place and it was written. These were written and they're bad, and I will honestly say, going by with the last new issue of Amazing Spider-Man, the media both picked up, issue 9 or 8 or whatever the hell we're up to now. It is just as bad, if not worse, in my opinion. And there's literally no end in sight.
And I mean, that's. I mean, I don't think it's like awful. I mean, like I said with number 3, I got some weird enjoyment out of that, and like I liked the Ms. Marvel story, I really did, and I liked Spider-Verse overall, like the main event of it. Like I'm not really like as I'm not disliking the book as much as James is, but like
if I can make an illusion real quickly, John, interrupt you for a second, but I just want to say this point before I forget what I'm going to say. It's like when you hear those stories about the president, how when he first goes in office, he's that eager young man who just got elected. He's young, he's for the people. And by the time his eighth year of his second term is over, he's gray hair and he's really quiet and older now. That's how I feel, because go back to 2008, Dan Slott's after his first arc on Amazing Spider-Man. I'm sold. I want this guy to be the only writer. He's the only one who gets the character. And now look at me.
And it's just like,
it's that quote, to quote Two-Face in The Dark Knight. He lived long enough. He didn't die a hero. He lived long enough to see himself become the villain almost.
And it's just it's unfortunate. It really is. Like, it's unfortunate that we reviewed these comics and we didn't like them very much. But I mean, it's just,
we got to find something good for our next back issues.
Yeah, we really do. So that's going to conclude our reviews for this week. That's also going to conclude this episode of the podcast. So, James, do you have any shout-outs to maybe take us out on a lighter note?
Happy birthday to my dad.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I have never been this so depressed at a comic book. Even since past, as I get mad and I hate that book, at least I love to hate that book. Because at least I got that small little nostalgic negative. That's my first Spider-Man arc. This, I don't even have that too. This is just, we reviewed, what was it, 5 issues, 7 issues, John. 7 issues where we can arguably say were really bad issues.
All right. My shout out this week, Marvel, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Dan Slott, Giuseppe Chemicoli, Humberto Ramos. Thank you for the comics we reviewed this week. Thank you for Spider-Man.
You're thanking them for these, John. Really?
You know what? It's because I'm that guy. Other shout out, Daredevil Season 2, Elektra trailer. Badass. Yes.
Oh my god! Now I know what's his name feels.
What?
You know who I'm talking about.
I'm not sure I do, but he can tell me off the air. But yeah, I loved the trailer for Daredevil Season 2 this week. That was good. What else? Shout out to Micro Center because I got a TV from there today. Shout out to Pop-Tarts because I ate one during the show. Shout out to water because I drank it during the show. Shout out to headphones because I'm wearing them right now. Shout out to, I don't know, air because I breathe it. No.
Shout out to ASM number 300 because at least I was looking at something kind of good while we were reviewing this. And what I mean kind of good, I mean because I was still in a bad mood. But this is still one of my favorite issues of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's it. We don't really have anything else this week, so we'll see you guys. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us this week through all the negativity. Hopefully next week will be more positive. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week, and he'll have a good week. All right, see you there. Thank you all.